Hi, and welcome to this guide on completing the Guroo Content Treatment template. By filling it out thoroughly, you'll help us understand your vision and build an e-learning module that meets your learning objectives. To assist your understanding of this form and the features in Guroo Pro, we have created a demo module for you to view, which we will also look at in this video. First, we have the project details section. This is straightforward. You just fill in your information and contact details and the Guroo contact person assigned to your project. Your experience title refers to the title of your e-learning module. This should be clear and descriptive, as this is what learners will see. Then, note the review and due dates and the content treatment status, so we can track progress and ensure we meet your deadlines. The experience details section defines the look, feel, and structure of your module. First, indicate whether you need SCORM compliance for your LMS. If you want characters in your module, specify which style to use, whether that's a Guroo Pro stock character, a custom character, or none at all. You can see an example of a character used in this demo module. In the language section, tell us if the module should be English only or multilingual. For the layout mode, you can select framed or frameless. Framed modules fix the module's dimensions, whereas in frameless modules, the content adjusts responsively to the learner's screen. The module structure refers to how many bytes are in the module. Single byte is ideal for focused, standalone learning. Use this when your content focuses on one topic or skill, flows naturally from start to finish, and can be completed in one sitting. Multi-byte is best when you have related topics that belong together but are distinct enough to be broken into separate sections and completed over multiple sittings. Multi-byte modules will include a learning plan that outlines the bytes or topics to be completed by the learner. If you like, you can personalize this learning plan to include different starting points, knowledge levels, or learning paths based on learners' roles, prior knowledge, or assessment results. Then, specify if you're using an existing Guroo theme or if we need to create a custom one based on your branding. Finally, note any additional requirements, such as mobile optimization or specific activity restrictions. The next sections cover badges and scoring. Badges refer to achievements that learners can gain throughout the module. Your module may include questions that fall under 2 or 3 key areas, so you may create a badge to award to learners for their successful completion of these questions in each of these areas. If your experience awards badges for achievements, list them here. Include the badge title, description, and a statement to acknowledge learners when they receive it. If your module includes assessed questions, define your scoring thresholds here and decide whether you want learners to see the score. If scoring doesn't apply, you can say so or leave this section blank. Engine setup refers to the header, footer, menu, and navigation settings. Specify how the experience title should display. As you can see in the demo module, both the experience title and individual page titles appear. Decide whether to include a header logo, such as your company logo, and if you'd like to include an exit button and menu button. The menu can be found in the top left corner and lists the screens in the module. An open menu gives learners immediate visibility of all the screens and their progress through the module. This works well when you want to emphasize the module structure or allow easy navigation between sections. A closed menu creates a cleaner, less cluttered interface and is ideal when you want learners to focus on the content without distractions. Then, the Resume Dialogue section decides whether, after pausing or leaving the module, learners continue from where they left off, review from the beginning, or start over upon their return. Whether your menu structure is visible to learners or not, you should outline it in this section. This gives us and you a clear roadmap of your module. This upfront planning helps you to organize your material in a way that flows clearly and logically, and enables you to identify any gaps or redundancies early on. It also helps you to get a sense of the length of the module and understand whether anything needs to be added or cut. It's much easier to reorganize the structure at this stage than after the content has been fully developed. For our team, it ensures we understand the full scope of the project and can create a clear learning experience throughout. Then we get into the content pages. For your cover page, provide the title of the e-learning module, and if your module is part of a broader course, you can list the name of that course here. Then you can specify a background image and any notes for our team. If you're using a multi-byte structure or personalized learning plan, you'll set up your multi-byte menu next. Choose your menu style. The game board style offers a more visual experience. allowing us to display images or icons for each byte and arrange them creatively across the screen. Alternatively, the list style presents bytes in a clear, vertical format that is simple to navigate. Then, set the progression type. For each byte, provide a title, a brief description, and an icon suggestion. Then you'll outline each screen. The bytes are listed above the tables here, but you can ignore or remove these if you're creating a single byte module. For each screen, list its title and layout. You may not know what layout you would like each screen to have, and our team will always aim to select the best choice for you. However, you may also have an idea of how you want your screens to look. So to help you choose the layout, let's go through what each option looks like. Scroll screens present all content on one page, and they're best used when you're presenting 1 to 2 key concepts or objects. Scroll screens should be kept relatively brief. You want to avoid large walls of text or presenting too much information on one screen, as that leads to cognitive overload and learners will miss key points. You can play around with the layout of your scroll screens depending on your content. For instance, this screen only includes one question, so we've used the framed left layout. Comparatively, this screen has more text content, so we used the full height center wide layout to make the best use of the screen space. If your screen relies heavily on a particular image, you may select the image and text block screen type, which features the image on one half of the screen and the corresponding text on the other. Tab, slider, and accordion screens are excellent when a topic contains a lot of information or you've got several related concepts that connect closely. Instead of overwhelming learners with everything at once, these layouts break content into digestible chunks. For example, this screen covers a multi-step process, so rather than cramming all the steps and examples onto one scroll screen, it creates a much better learning experience to use a slider screen with one step per slide. Learners can progress through at their own pace, focusing on one step at a time. Similarly, tab screens work great when you're organizing content by subtopics. This screen covers the topic why data storytelling matters, so we have one tab defining storytelling, the next explaining its importance, the next covering its benefits, and the final tab including a knowledge check question. Hotspot screens are fantastic for image-based content, particularly when learners need to explore diagrams, graphics, or visual concepts. Learners can click on different parts of an image to discover information that's directly related to what they're looking at. We've used a hotspot screen here on this screen about different types of charts and graphs. This works because we can use icons on the hotspots to illustrate each chart and graph visually. Also, because there are 8 charts to cover, it's nice to have a display that allows learners to see all the subscreens in advance and avoids clutter with 8 tabs or slides squished into a navigation bar. Then we have conversation screens, which use characters to guide learners through the content in a more narrative, dialogue-based format. These screens are excellent for guiding learners through the module or placing them in scenarios and real-world contexts. Characters humanize your content and make it feel more concrete and relevant. Learners can see how concepts apply in real-life situations through the eyes of relatable characters. Each screen in this template features a different screen layout. For instance, screen 3 is a slider and screen 4 is a hotspot. So you can choose to use these templates where relevant in your layout. So let's say screen 2 in your module is a slider screen. You may simply choose to copy this slider template and paste it under the heading screen 2. If that screen includes more than 3 slides, you can copy these 3 rows, then insert 3 rows below. Paste the content into those new rows and renumber the slide. If you are unsure of how you want your screens to look or have no preference, you can select Designer Choice and our team can pick the screen layout while we build. After that, select whether the screen is required, optional, or targeted, then write the text that will be included on the screen. Ensure the text is finalized and written as intended for the module. Then, make any notes on the visuals for the screen, which can include required or suggested backgrounds, graphics, icons, or diagrams. You'll see that there's also a table to include any questions in your module. In this table, choose whether the question contributes to the learner's score, whether the question option should be randomized, and the question layout. Let's go through the various question types Pro offers. First, there are multiple choice questions. These can either have one or multiple correct answers. Each response has a result attributed to it and automated feedback. Then we have slider questions, where learners slide the mouse to the correct answer. The style is particularly great if your question responses sit on some kind of scale. Matching questions require learners to match different options to their corresponding answers. For instance, in this example, learners are presented with a scenario that they have to match to the correct kind of data storytelling. Then there are ordering questions where learners order steps in a process. You can see how those look here in our demo module, where learners need to arrange these steps in the correct order to create an effective data story. The swipe left or right style is good for questions with a true or false or yes or no answer. Then there are image choice questions, which are multiple choice questions where learners select the correct image. In this example, learners select the best kind of graph to present in a specific scenario, and images here are useful for showing what each graph looks like. Then there are reflective questions, which have no right or wrong answer, and are more about prompting learners to reflect upon what they've learned. Screen 3 includes a template specifically for these questions, which you can use where required. You may also like to include flip cards in your module, which are an interactive way to present content. Instead of just reading information passively, learners have to flip through the cards, which turns passive reading into active engagement. Flip cards are great for definitions, key concepts, quick facts, or an alternative format for bigger dot points. In this demo module, we have used flip cards in the carousel layout with icons to represent the business benefits of data storytelling. Then here, we've used the grid layout with images to show the science behind effective data presentation. Then, the resources section allows you to add supplementary materials into your module. For learners, these will show in the top right corner here. In this section, give the resource a title and description, then add it into the column on the right. Finally, there is the supporting details section, which provides more detail on the screen layouts and activity types in Pro. Remember, you can also see how these look in practice in the demo module, and always reach out if needed.